Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to talk about the interview that Ion had yesterday on Twitch, where he talked about all the small things in 8.1 that we'll be adding, like class tunings, PvP and tanks and Azerite tunings. So instead of just talking about it, let's go directly into it. So the first thing we will talk about is Azerite, and they are going to, well, an extra outer ring that has 2 specific traits per spec. So that means they will add a new outer ring that, you know, already now we have some rings in the Azerite armor. In the raid gear we have, I think it's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, a little one, bigger, bigger, bigger. But they will add additional again, and that, well, as it says, an extra outer ring that has 2 specific traits per spec. So that means they will add another ring that has another thing for you. The reason for why they're doing it is basically because then all the items you're getting have bigger chance for you actually want to keep it, instead of right now you're just looking for this specific item that had this specific trait on it. So it's kind of helping for every gear piece in the game is more valuable. In season 2 and the new raid, all of the new gear will have a new outer ring that is spec specific traits only. So I'm not quite sure if he means that if you inside blood spec as a Death Knight, then when it drops it will only be blood ring, or it actually means you can choose other rings. I'm not quite sure, because the next line he said is kind of scary. Well, it's scared me, you can say. Someone that is dedicated to a spec should have small advantage over someone who is constantly switching. So that means if you like to play Balanced Druid and Resto Druid all the time, just switching between them, then they want him to be more poor or better, you know, not better but worse than actually one who's like, I want to be Resto all the time and I don't want to do anything else. I mean, it's like, why do you want that, Blizzard? I mean, isn't it okay to be switching through your specs and enjoying the class with all your specs? But now you're punishing people for actually switching specs, and they're like, no, you should only play one spec. It's like, okay. Well, that will be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see, yeah. So in the PvP, so Unholy Death Knights and Affliction Lock survivability is on the team's radar, and I know Unholy Death Knights has been complaining about living and, well, actually doing great in PvP. After that, well, they were pretty good until Blizzard nerfed them, so it's like they nerfed them and now they are looking into the problems, like, guys, you just nerfed them, that's everything. And Affliction Lock, well, I actually thought Affliction was pretty good in PvP, but okay, seems like it's not. The team is looking at current pace of arena matches. There should be a place for burst comps and slower comps. And I actually agree with that, because right now in the game, all the comps in arena is actually just about CCs. So CC that, sheep that, cyclone that. It's like there's no burst comps, no slow comps. Slow comps means, you know, where they just debuff everyone on the team and they just start, you know, dying. Like Affliction Lock, you know, where he burst anyone to put a dot on it. Actually, it's the next topic. Some recent changes in BFA made Affliction more single target oriented. The team wants to pull them back towards multi-dot, and that's also what I mean with the slow comps. So these are one more comps, and personally I love burst comps, but it's not really an option right now. I feel like it's only CC comps that is working at the moment, and it's like that's poor. I remember where you could actually have a warrior and Death Knight and you could charge in and kill the healer quick if you're lucky, and if you're not, well, then you would lose. It's like a half win. Yeah, the team is looking at Shadow Priests too, so that means Shadow Priests will probably get a buff soon. Well, hopefully. I mean, they are great playing, but a bit squishy in PP. So now we're going to talk about the tanks, and everyone probably know what we're going to talk about here, because as it says, tank balance is something that the team is looking at. And everyone knows that Brewmaster and Death Knight tanks right now is the most overpowered tank. I mean, if you're playing a raid, you basically just want a Brewmaster and a Blood Death Knight. You don't want anything else. It's like druids, paladins, warriors. You can go away. You can play DPS or healer. We don't want you as tanks. And it's basically a sad thing, because every class should have a tank. I mean, every tank in the game should have something to come with. So if we have a warrior, we will get this bonus. If we have a Death Knight, we get this bonus. I mean, yeah. So as Iron said, Brewmaster and Death Knight have too much viability compared to other tanks. Protection Warrior and Guardian Druid are lagging behind. Some of that is numerical tuning. Some with Prot Warrior has to do with rotation flow, change coming to the PTR in the not so distant future. So I play personally myself Protection Warrior, and I feel the rotation of Protection Warrior is so weird. I mean, all of the tank specs I play is much more easy flow, but the Protection Warrior is like, there's something weird when you're playing. It's like something is not fishing, and as he says, has to do with rotational flow. So exactly how I felt with Protection Warrior yesterday when I run through a dungeon, Ion has the same issue, that he says they have some rotational flow. So we probably know that Brewmaster and Death Knight tanks will maybe get a nerf, and Protection Warriors and Guardian Druid is probably getting a buff. I don't know where Paladins are right now, but we'll see. We'll see. So general things. So just a lot of things that he just mentioned. In patch 8.1 we will have Alliance doing the Warfront right away. That's pretty cool. I mean, the Horde started this time, but then he's kind of now he's kind of turning it back to what he said. The two Warfronts will have their independent contribution cycles. So that means Alliance and Horde can actually have Warfront on the same time, because they will probably use sharing or sharding. So it doesn't matter for both having it active at the same time. But if he says Alliance will start first, and then he after that says they will have two independence cycles, it's like okay. Or maybe he means that Alliance start with giving resources and Horde starts with clearing the land. I'm not sure. We will see. The team has been looking at adding another version of Warfronts that is tuned for raid groups. And what he meant about that is they tried an internal test in Blizzard where they took a whole raid group, so everyone had I think 390 gear, you know, the best gear in the game, 95 or something. And then they tried going to the Warfront, and everyone just killed everything. I mean, just 3 person there, 3 person there, everyone could clear the map. They cleared the map so fast that they have to stand still, just waiting 50 minutes for looking on the turret, your cannons, to just kill the towers. And normally you do something else while the towers is killed, because everyone is doing random things. But if you have a pre-made group in Warfronts, you will end up standing still, just looking on your cannons, shooting their cannons, and you'll stand there for 50 minutes. So that's what he means with they are going to add some kind of Warfront that is tuned for a raid group. So I guess they will maybe do a heroic version or mythic version, I'm not sure. But I mean, why is raid groups even going into Warfronts when you only get 340 gear? It's like, do we even have to use time on fixing this, Blizzard? In patch 8.1, the team will roughly double the amount of reputation awarded by Legion World Quest for the light races. So if you want really much that Nightborn or other races, well, then it's a good thing for you now, because it will double the reputation. But you still have to farm all the world quests all the time. Good luck. As of now, the team is going to call the raid Battle of Dasar Allah. So that's going to be the new raid they're going to open first in the next patch 8.1, where we will be fighting, where Alliance and Horde will have each bosses, but then you can do a recap and kill the other bosses, so everyone will still be able to kill each other bosses. Killing creatures will always be part of island expedition, but the team wants to add more events and objectives to the islands. And I also heard that they will probably add some stations you can capture, so you can capture a drill machine that will drill after Azerite and it will give you 5 points all the time. So you can kind of, they will add a lot of more things you can actually do that will give you resources, instead of you just have to pull a lot of, because right now you just have to pull a lot of monsters, kill them, and it's basically what it's about, killing monsters, killing rares, woohoo. But they want to add stations you can capture that give you points and a lot of more funny things. Elf friendliness is important in patch 8.1. That means they will be adding a lot of new things. They will also add fly points for your ult, so when you have that fly point in your main, you can buy a book that will give all the fly points to your ult also, and so on. So they will make the game much more ult friendly for your ults. There aren't any plans to update the Death Knight starting area for allied races. Okay, well, I just put it on the list. I don't know if it's important for anyone, but it's not for me, but probably. So this is what I would say the most valuable things to talk about the interview yesterday. So out of that 1 hour interview, we basically got these informations. So of course there's a lot of more information. You can go to MMO Champion, go ahead, read all the small peaks, big tricks, but this is the main topics. So yeah. So we will see when the patch release, and probably soon the rotation for the new rotation for Protection Warriors will also go to PTR, and I will make a movie about it, and we'll see how it goes. So leave down a comment, guys. So what do you think about the new patch that will coming? Do you think it will be a great thing for Blizzard, or do you think they are digging their own graves? So leave down a comment. What do you think? And thanks guys for watching.